Konnichiwa. Welcome to the Marshall Maze. I'm with my partner, Barakula Chidoshi.
And I'm with my partner here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
Yo!
What's up?
We are into season 4. I want to congratulate you. I'm going to congratulate myself a little bit. Who knew?
Backpacks.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That we, from day one, how far this journey would be taking us. So we are officially in our season 4, and to celebrate our season 4, we are moving a little bit. There are a couple announcements, but to celebrate our season 4, we're going to be offering free giveaways every month. And that'll start going in the month of March. So there's going to be a big announcement on our Facebook page, along where I think we're going to do something on YouTube too. Our Twitter, our what else? Instagram. So there'll be a lot of things coming up. So to kind of talk a little bit about that, to let folks know what's really going on. We are moving to Patreon. We already had a Patreon page set up, but we are actually going to move closer to the Patreon page, but we want to give a lot of bang for the buck, so you definitely want to stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Free trip to Japan.
I don't know about a free trip to Japan. Wow, what you doing?
Become a Patreon member, Marshall Maze.
The giveaways, the gimmies are going to be nice, though. We are going to be doing a thing where we're going to be paying for folks, a free month wherever they train in.
Yes.
So we're going to be paying for that. You know what I'm saying? If your name's picked. Then we also got not just our merch, but we'll have other merchandise, Fuji gis, this, that, and the third. So we got ladies and gentlemen, everything is martial arts related. So a lot of the gimmies or the awards and the stuff like that, the things that folks will be winning, will be geared around martial arts. So just keep that in mind. I mean, occasionally you might get a hoodie and stuff like that. It depends on what tier you are, though. If you're the base tier, so basically the way this works is that no matter what tier you are, you're entered in to a drawing that will happen every month. And then I thought we said bi-monthly. It'll all be in writing and stuff like this. But there's some big things happening. Yeah, some big things happening to celebrate, and it's gonna go the whole season.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, so it's a whole year.
Yeah,
so it's a whole year, just a lot of give up. We're just gonna be giving it away.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Some folks will be like, well, it might not be worth it if they're just giving it away. No, it's not that, ladies and gentlemen. We just want to say thank you. Thank you to the folks that have supported us over the years from day one. Definitely, if you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, we got some love coming your way. We are pairing up with the Deadly Art of Survival for some of these gimmies. I think our first gimme is a Deadly Art of Survival package. So that's why we got to kind of get the ball rolling.
Right.
Because they have the DOSCon. So I think we're going to be giving something away for DOSCon.
Yep, coming up in March.
Yeah, that's in March. So we need to get the ball rolling on that. So again, big announcement coming, and can't wait.
Man. I can't believe, man, season 4. A lot of talking. I didn't think we were capable
of doing that much talking. Have you met us?
But I didn't think it could be 4 seasons. It makes me think about myself. I think I might need therapy or something.
It is. This is Marshall therapy.
Yeah. A therapist needs a therapist.
Yeah, wait, listen. Most therapists actually see other therapists. Yes. Psychiatrists see other psychiatrists.
It's crazy.
Stuff like that. All right, so folks, you might hear the but it's not me cracking a beer. I got one of them liquid deaths. It's water, but it looks like a beer, but it's water.
Interesting.
It's mango chainsaw.
Oh, wow. I thought that was a beer.
Yeah, no, this is water, man.
Oh,
I'm like, and it's
interesting.
Delicious.
Where is it from? Is that local?
I don't know. But all I know is they even sell them in brown paper bags. Yeah, they do. I'm like,
okay. You have me on that one.
No, but and I'm like, the cans are designed to look like alcohol.
A great way to get pulled over, huh?
Yeah, it really is, because you be drinking in your car. It's water, and the cops like whoop 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 whoop.
And like we used to say when we were young, and I'm the Pope.
Yeah, like that liquid death. No, but you can clearly see liquid death, and it's water. It's very good water, though.
Mm-hmm. Enough to kill you.
And so good they put it in a can. It's not in a bottle. It's in a can.
Oh boy.
I'll be all right. All right. So, all right. Also, and this really comes from you, Barakula Chidoshi. You're the one who's actually starting this up with us for season 4. So we're doing a lot of what? We're doing a lot of Q&A.
Yeah, a lot of questions, surface on social media. And I've been chiming in a lot on that, and it was like, wow, folks are really curious out there, have some solid questions. Some are very complex questions.
Yeah.
So from experienced martial artists to the actual novice, so I thought it would be good if we just start answering these questions to the best of our knowledge. And also, as instructors, I don't know everything.
No, you know what? No, that's always good. I mean, we have a certain level of expertise, but even some of the best science, even Neil deGrasse Tyson, he confers with his other colleagues.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I like using him as an example. I just know you're a huge fan. So.
Yeah, I am. Big up to Neil.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Well, I like he partnered with that other brother. I like that podcast.
Chuck Nice.
Yeah, it's always worth listening to. Yes. I'm not saying the brother wasn't worth listening to before, but he was a little dry before. Now it's nice.
Yeah, he made it poppy.
Yeah, well, listen, hey, it worked for me.
Yeah. The rest of it, if you're not into that field, you're going to sleep.
But he made the field like now that you that him and Key and Peele though. Like I caught a couple of Key and Peele sketches where it does Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he's like, "And did you know the molecule?" And it was hilarious. So, but yeah, it helped me get me back from South Carolina. I was driving, I put that podcast on, I was digging it. I was like,
learn something.
Yeah, yes, I did too.
Absolutely.
All right.
So yeah, I felt that it's something definitely for us to dig in a little bit, and chip at it a little bit to see how we come off with some answers to some of these questions.
Well, then we'll have special guests on too, and they can help us answer.
We
can talk about this. We'll quorum it,
Yeah, because there's so much to learn out there, and I say this to my students too. I'm not the authority of any of this. I know what I know through my years of dedication, and I love it when people take the time to really ponder and think about their questions and actually stump me. I enjoy being stumped, and at that moment I have to pause and really think about what I'm about to say next. We
are calling upon our vast X amount of years of experience and stuff like that. So let's jump into it. Yeah. I'm really excited, man. Chomping at the bit right now.
Yeah. So one. Okay.
Like I said, one.
Question one. Okay. A trained man with little fighting experience will beat an untrained man who has fighting, brawling experience. What are your thoughts on this statement?
Oh, well, hold on. Wait a minute. You're saying, you have to reread that question again.
Let me read it again. Let me read it again.
Somebody said what?
All right. This is just a statement that is,
Okay, no. Okay, it's a statement. Go ahead.
A trained man with little fighting experience will beat an untrained man who has fighting, brawling experience. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so I want to jump in. Wait a minute. What, are we talking sport or are we talking real life? Because those are two different things. If we're talking about an untrained man getting into a sport contest with a guy who's been training in that sport for a little bit of time, okay, the advantage is to the guy who trained in that sport. But if you're talking about a guy who's been brawling in the street forever against a guy who, because a guy who trained a little bit and now is fighting, gets into a street fight, that street guy, that street fighter is gonna win.
For me, that's a simple answer. For some, they may try to chew at it a little bit. I'm gonna say the one who has the experience is the one that's going to win. Yeah, hands down.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot that comes from experience. You got a guy who trains, he kind of knows what to do, this, that, and the third. But again, because fighting is fighting is fighting. Like you'll see a guy who grappled on the ground in the street, and you'll watch what he does and see how that translated. You'll see that very same guy at a grappling gym or a BJJ gym, and he'll do very well. You know, right? Kind of because he has a natural. He understands what he needs to do on the ground. He understands how to frame without ever knowing that it's called framing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And stuff like that. Like some of the principles will just be there.
Right.
I mean, outside of some of the extra creative things like gator rolling and all that other good stuff. I mean, like, but if you just take the just bare bones stuff, you know what I'm saying? A guy who's been grappling, he has it. It's there.
It's so funny when you said that. It was like he went into a De La Riva into the Kiss the Dragon.
Well, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like,
yeah. What? And I'm like, he doesn't know that. I'm like, but for him, he's just like, yo, his arm was here. It allowed me to just get on top of him. And then I started smashing him, his head into the ground. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I mean, there are a lot of things. I would say a guy who is trained, remember, depending on what gym or school you're going to, it might dictate how you perceive violence.
Yeah, also too, as far as how you train, are you in this school? I find it odd if you're in a school learning physical fighting, you're learning how to fight, and there is no sparring practice in your school. I find that very weird. That wait a minute, you're learning how to fight, but you're not sparring, or also to make a distinction between fighting and self-defense, because you got some folks who confuse self-defense as being someone who can fight. And that's not true either.
Yeah, again, but it goes back to, are we looking at it in the sport context of fighting?
I'm sure this question wasn't based in the sport context. It was just based on someone who trains in the dojo, non-sport, but training to deal with real-life altercations and never fighting at all, right, versus someone who's out there who actually brawls in the street. All right, who will have the upper hand?
Well, yeah. Well, I would tell you the guy who's trained for a little bit of time in a school who doesn't address sports. So let's look at it from that angle. Then he would have the wherewithal to not get into a fight with a trained fighter, with a guy who because he would have that wherewithal.
That's
he would
simple to say, man. We're just getting to the fight. There is no avoiding.
No. But that's my point, though. No, because that's all of it. All of it is still very much a part of it. Understanding when you're going to be outmatched, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Then you start to, again, you will look to flee. Only a fool flat out is going to, like, unless you're cornered, right? Only a fool is going to look to engage when you already know you're going to lose.
But listen, brother, you know doggone well when we were kids, right? Mm-hmm. And when the word got out, that dude does karate. All right? The whole block wants to test you. All right, it's damn near hard to get away from that.
No. But see,
had to fight.
Here's the thing, and this is my own story. This is something that really did happen. Was there was a dude who knew. This is high school. And you know, and he was like, everybody was like, yo, this is this guy, you know, boom, 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 and they were saying all of that stuff, and I didn't know how he was going to come with things, you know what I'm saying? So strategically, I realized that, one, if I got into the fight in school, I could survive the altercation because I wouldn't have to worry about being jumped, this, that, and the third, right? So what I did is I went into Automac with a hammer and hit him with it. Now, I got suspended, you know what I'm saying? But one, I ended up with a reputation after that, you know what I'm saying? And two, I was left alone. I'm like, but again, these are tactics, man.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
All right.
I'm like,
all right.
So it was, again, the martial training that I had gotten back then. Don't look, man. Hey, look, that guy wants to do this right here. Don't wait for it. I'm not gonna wait for you to come to me. I'm gonna come. I was preemptive,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Right. And then I what some would say I took it to a little more of an extreme. You know what I'm saying? But there was the hammer. There he was. You know, look, it's real fighting. Real fighting. I mean, remember, we were at the time. We were learning the because this was during the Griffins, this is the Whitleys, this is all of that. We were in an environment where these folks did talk about the sport, but they talked about real life.
Right.
In real life, what's the rules? What's the rule in a real life fight?
There's no rules.
There's no rules. So what's wrong if I grab the hammer?
No, there is nothing wrong with it.
There you go.
I would say that definitely the seasoned fighter, brawler, would definitely have the upper hand because there are certain chemical reactions, responses that happen in real life scenarios that you don't you don't experience in a controlled environment. And so, therefore, that's why sport competition is important. So that way, like, listen, to be safe. I mean, when I used to compete back in the day, my first fight, oh my God, I threw up. I had butterflies in my stomach. I mean, I was jittery, and I was like, wow, I wasn't like this on Main Street when I hit that kid or whatever. That was a different environment. Now people are watching me, so this was
peer pressure. There's a lot of things.
This is different. I'm in a team, I'm on a team. All right. And so this is entirely different, and all eyes are on me at this moment. I was not used to that. So that was a different mental training. All right, a different experience there. And then being in the street is another kind of experience. It's almost like it's like a rabid dog. All right. I like to make that comparison. It's like, killed or be killed. It's that kind of environment. And with someone who's actually been tussling like that, there's a certain kind of mindset that's there that turns on and off at any given notice. And most people are not prepared for that kind of onslaught if it's not taught in your dojo.
Konnichiwa. I'm Israel Lopez Sensei of the Martial Maze. Right now, you might be asking yourself, what is the Martial Maze? Well, I'm here to tell you. The Martial Maze is a martial arts podcast that deals with the complexities and pitfalls that one encounters when navigating the field of study that is martial arts. These discussions are from the points of view of actual martial artists, and we cover it all, with the occasional special guest, who of course are masters in their fields of study. From the president of the United States Judo Association to karate and kung fu royalty. Myself and Barack Yalad Shidoshi have over 40 plus years of martial experience. So please join us as we make our way through the Martial Maze. New episodes drop weekly, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, one of my best mates, Sarah, I remember one of the guys that we used to hang out with back in the day. Remember Mouse, all those folks?
Yes.
There was this brother, he was from New York, and he got into a fight up at Van Horn Park, and he got stabbed with one of them little knives, like a what's it called, a little pocket knife. He ended up dying. He died in Sarah's arms. And so, but again, it goes back to that's real fighting. That was real. You know what I'm saying? Then, and not so much as in sport. So we go for, again, you go to a martial school, right? And let's say it's one of the schools that they deal with combatives full on. I mean, one of the things they teach you right away from day one, look, you ain't ready for this yet. You haven't been battle tested yet. You ain't ready for this yet. You need to get that time. So even to answer the question and circling back to it, depends on the time frame. Now, for me, that question resonated more of somebody thinking of the sport, of the sport martial artist, even the MMA guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of those guys get into real life tussles and end up getting dead or getting beat half to death because they don't realize there's a difference. There really is.
The smart ones avoid it.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, real fighters, real people who really bang typically don't get into fights because they have the wherewithal. They they recognize bad intentions. I was talking about this with one of the brothers I train with up and teach with up in Leominster and stuff like that. We had talked about this where one of the benefits is that you recognize it. You know what I'm saying? Like you smell it, you see it. One of the things when you train at a traditional school, even whether you're learning sport, hardcore sport or not, one of the caveats is recognizing bad intentions, recognizing the shift in the pheromones and stuff like that. Like you go to any, and most of the guys that do BJJ would know what I'm talking about right away. You looking at a dude, and you can tell. You know when you get on that mat with him, he's gonna go 5,000 miles an hour, full bore. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. No different than boxing. Walk into the real boxing gym, and that dude that you're about to spar with. Those intentions. You see the look in his eye, glazed over like a tiger, like the eye of the tiger. Mm-hmm. And almost all competitors get that way. You know what I'm saying? And it's a byproduct of just doing that kind of competition, being able to control your emotions. You start dealing with the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, the 4Fs. You know what I'm saying? And you learn a lot about yourself and how to control those kinds of things. And a beginner doesn't get that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, a veteran street fighter gets all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the environment they live in. The only difference is when I'm in the ring or wherever, the thought of dying it's still not there.
It's not entering.
There's safeguards.
You can die.
You can die. You can take a bad throw, land on your neck and head, boom, paralyzed the rest of your life, you're dead. Or you can die. You know, it does happen. Yeah. It's rare, but it does happen. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing that it's not there in your head. It's not like you're fighting for real. Like fighting for real, again, we talk about this because you and I, we work security nightclubs and stuff like that. Look, the best place to get into a fight is at a club. It's a club with really good security. Mm-hmm. Because you know you're going to get out alive.
Well, for the time being, until you lock up and hope they're not in the car waiting for you.
No, but that's just it. No. Normally, good security, they're getting that guy out over there.
Right.
You're getting out over there.
Right.
And it's really now just because they don't want nothing to happen on the property.
Right.
Now you got to get down the road first. So they're going to let you get down the road if it's good security. They're going to let you get down, and what happens after that happens after that. But you know you can get your shit off and then be out.
Right. Yeah.
Or really good. I'm like really good places. I'll hit you. You'll never get to hit me back.
Right.
Because security will be all over us already.
Right. We already have sign language. We know.
Yeah, they recognize the bad intentions. They saw it. The security's floating. They look and they like, oh, here they go. You know what I'm saying? See the guy circling around the dude. You're like, oh, come on. Hey man, we about to have a problem on the floor.
Yep. That's it.
But you know what I'm saying? Even the DJ starts turning up the music all of a sudden. Everybody, raise your hands. Raise your hand. Yeah, as we're swarming it. You know, all of that kind of stuff. So I mean. I don't know. I mean, I may be overthinking the question, but
no. You're dead on. You're hitting on all those points. For me personally, also even flipping it to what if a person, not a beginner beginner student, but someone who is well trained in that dojo, all right, and who would win that confrontation, the guy who was seasoned or the guy who was in the dojo that may be a black belt. I would base it off of, it depends on what is being taught in that school and the experience of that instructor.
Okay, so to circle back to one of our brothers that we affiliate with and stuff like that, asking us to say we talked about this, and he often says it. Certain martial systems were designed to fight the dregs of society. So it was designed to fight the street fighter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you address the street fighter in not certain martial systems. Well, yeah, I will say certain martial systems that are really designed for just that purpose, to fight somebody who is skilled in the real world. Take some point. Even when I was training, my first weapon was a 4-legged horse, a bar stool. Mm-hmm. You know, it was a bar stool. I always say a 4-legged horse, but it was a bar stool. Mm-hmm. And why? Because I was more likely to get into an altercation at a bar. Why Kenny had me doing this at 15 was beyond me. But
he was seasoning you.
Yeah, he was seasoning me up, right? Because where did I end up working? I ended up working at a bar. Yeah, and where did most of it? At the bar.
Yeah, Rose.
So yeah. I mean, Roadhouse made it look more glamorous. In real life, it was terrifying. So yes, then I would tell you that if your art is geared around fighting somebody out in the real world, then you're addressing the mollywop or the what is it called? I call it a mollywop.
Yeah, it's a mollywop. Yeah.
You're addressing that kind of stuff. You're addressing the guy who might have the knife on him or the razor blade in his mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you're starting to address those kinds of things, and that is realistically what everything you do is geared around that.
Right.
Dealing with more than one attacker, keep it moving, even when folks talk about that roll, right? They're like, yo, man, they did a thing, and then the guy rolled out. Man, that's goofy. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. Well, I can tell you, I used it in real life. I was just fine.
Yeah.
It was just, that was what was there. Boom, boom, boom. I'm down. I'm looking at the guy. I couldn't see who was around me. So I rolled, got up, and I could,
got out of there quick.
Yeah, I could get out of there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. So I don't know, bro.
Yeah. And people misunderstand a lot of things that they see if they're not actually in that school. They think they get it until you go there to really get a firm understanding. One thing that I also want to add in too is that there are certain systems of jiu-jitsu that is not designed, and this is where it kind of gets funny, and you can play with this a bit. There is no randori. All right, because then that means limbs are broke.
Yeah, you break somebody.
And so when you look at systems like judo, the sport version of judo, or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I don't know how to word this the right way, but
they made
the lethal techniques were extracted out, so it's more safer play.
Yeah, it's safer to learn the mechanic. You get the mechanic, and then I can twist your arm in such a way where when I throw you on it Seoinage, I actually break your arm.
Right, that's the whole point of it.
Yes,
right.
So it doesn't take much to make to alter the throws to make them lethal.
Right.
And now, having said that, now on a podcast, I almost feel like, if I ever get in trouble again, they're gonna replay this episode.
No, because I think that's very important, because you have folks who train to be lethal. All right, at that moment. And we're also talking about, and it's kind of funny, because you got to play. How do we begin to even explore and play with this if everything is so lethal you can't even you can't play with it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, that was the whole point. Well, there are ways you can drill.
Right.
Drilling is just as effective as randori. Here's the issue. Here's my only issue with randori, right? When we think about free play or chaos. I'm fighting somebody who knows what I know, who can do what I can do, which means we're both addressing the violence at that level, or that level of understanding. He knows that when I pull his weight this way, he knows just enough to readjust it so that he can, because I always say judoka, we're masters at being on balance, right? We learn how to disrupt or not have our balance disrupted.
Right.
So when I'm randori with another judoka, now we're both it's like a game of chess with two skilled players at that point, right? And I would say that fighting somebody in the real world, how many people know how to fall in the real world? How many people know how to address being off balance in the real world? Not a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? So now the whole game is different. How I'm going to address somebody in the real world is very different. I had a student the other day say, hey, but what happens if a guy has a T-shirt on? And I said, I did a whole video on this. Aaron threw Scott Rogers like a handful of times before his T-shirt ripped and stuff like that. So, unless you have a really flimsy T-shirt. But I also brought it back to, we live in New England. When are you walking around in a T-shirt?
Well, no, summertime.
Yeah, only in the summertime. But here's the thing. Most of us, when you go out, what are you wearing? You're wearing pants, right?
Yeah.
What kind of pants? What's the average person they wear?
Jeans.
Jeans is thick, right? And what do you wear with your jeans? Typically, you wear a belt. But when I said, and these are all things that you can grab onto and hoist and throw a person around very easily with their jeans on.
Yep.
And I said, look, no one's there is a guy who actually walks around, and there was a guy who BJJ practitioner way back in the day who really loved rash guards, and he I think still to this day he just wears nothing but rash guards for clothing.
Just let everyone know. Look at me.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I love
people
wearing a rash guard.
Also too, and it's so funny.
Bro.
Yeah, you do have one.
I'm rocking one right now.
So, I mean, and that's also funny, too, from just the self-defense, self-protection perspective. Like, you don't run around advertising this stuff. But because of the sport, I guess people love to rep their schools and put it out there. I do this, I do that. Repping a school is
not bad.
It's not bad.
And it's a good deterrent. Believe it or not,
sometimes
really is.
Sometimes not. Well, I don't know. I mean, just look at the problem. Maybe it changed from back when we were growing. When you knew something, you were more likely to get tested. People wanted to test you they knew you knew something, to see how good you are.
No, but here's the thing. I mean, I always say that something like, especially like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, have really good marketing, really good press. How many videos out there? There are more videos of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, or guys who study Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, taking guys out, or little girls taking out big guys, submitting them out, this, that, and the third, where one would ask a question right away. Do I really want to get into a fight with that dude and have him? Hey, listen, one of the most embarrassing things in the world is to be submitted or be put to sleep.
But these guys are not going to test you that way. These guys are like, yo... Blade.
No, but you know what?
Something else is going to come. But we just talked about weapons.
But that's what I'm saying to you. So,
and if you ain't training for that in your school,
but with that being said, the caveat that you get is to not be in those environments. A lot of these guys, they do listen. you learn how to navigate. You learn how to recognize bad intentions. And again, yeah, you're rocking, you're repping your, your school. You have whatever MMA, whatever martial arts school you're repping. But you're also very aware. Typically most of these guys are hyper aware and stuff like that. Occasionally, yeah, the meatheads, that's a more MMA thing. But even in the MMA guys, they typically are more hyper aware of what's going on around them. Yeah, they can fly off the handle, but again, you recognize those bad intentions. You see the dude, you see him eyeballing you, you're eyeballing him, and the dude who's rocking that knife.
Or that rival school. Yeah. They're like, look who's in the building.
Yeah.
And you got your school, and they're like, look at these guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's the point. I mean, so going all the way back to the original question, I would still, the advantage goes to the veteran fighter.
Yes, I agree.
So that we can put that one to bed.
Yeah, we can put it to bed because we can keep going.
Oh no, because we've segued so far off topic.
No, because it all feeds in versus experience versus no experience.
Well, I guess I would make the reasonable. Well, actually, not even reasonable. We were going towards more experience.
Yes,
we really did. We moved the goalpost so many times
because there were so many ways to open it up. Right. You can pick at it. You can literally pick at it.
Marshall Maze presents the Modern Combative series on YouTube. The Marshall Maze takes an in-depth documentary-style approach to not only the martial arts techniques found in the systems, but the practitioners of those very systems as well. With over a combined 50-plus years of martial arts experience, Barack Yalin Shidoshi and Israel Lopez Sensei endeavor to explore it all as they travel the United States, exploring modern combative systems. So be sure not to miss the Marshall Maze Presents Modern Combative series on YouTube.
So the next question I have, has anybody hit a wall where their body could keep training, but it became too mentally and emotionally too much? I increased the number of hours on the mat from 4 to 5 hours a week to almost 8 hours over the past 3 months, and I hit that wall. Any girls and guys hit it, and how did you manage it? All right, it's the way the question was written.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
so reread that question because I'm really confused.
Let's start again. Anybody hit a wall where their body could keep training, which means, technically he would say couldn't keep training. Okay. But it became too mentally and emotionally too much. I increased the number of hours on the mat from 4 to 5 hours a week to almost 8 over the past 3 months. And I hit that wall. Any guys and girls out there hit it? And how did you manage to get out of it? ? And by the way, I'm 53 years old. 3-stripe white belt, Army vet with a day job, 2 teenagers, and going through a divorce. Yeah, I know. I might have bitten a bit too much.
Okay. So to answer that question real quick, back off. I'm like, that's a no-brainer. I get it where some folks really want to get good at something, and like I love that kind of energy where you just want to throw yourself into something, but it's time management. And of course your body needs time to heal and stuff like that. Now, when you say mentally taxing, I don't know. The fact that he said stripes or whatchamacallit, I'm assuming Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at this point. I can't paint all gyms with a broad brush. I know the gym that I train at. You know what? You pick your level of intensity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I would tell you, I know sometimes guys get into that brohamish kind of mindset, but if you're 55-something years old and you have a whole life and you have all these things going on in your life, that I think of I'm going to use a term rolling. I still call it newaza, but we'll just say for lack of just argument, your rolling time should be pleasant. It should be easy peasy on the body. You should be there sopping the knowledge up with a biscuit And your rolls should be smooth and nice. Like, I mean, listen, I can't be Billy D. Williams, but I want you to, like, if you don't know who Billy D. Williams is, I want you to Google Billy D. Williams. And I want that shit to be like Coke 45. It's got that dynamite taste, you know. It's got to be smooth and easy, man. Smooth and easy rolls, especially at that age. One of the things I personally like about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is that those two things. That one, I pick my level of intensity. I want to go bucky wild. There are plenty of guys who would be more than happy to accommodate. But if I don't want to be in the hurt locker, you know what I'm saying, for the next couple of weeks, to be broken for the next couple of weeks, you know, no, I go easy peasy and I pick something. I always have something I want to work on. And you know what I'm saying? And I'll just keep working towards that. I don't care if I get submitted 5 million times, but I'm still going to work that one thing, that one mechanic, get better at that, get better at this. But my rolls, man, I'm like, yeah, they're typically, there are times where I get in my own headspace and want to be so hard on myself where I'm after the roll. But then there's other times where I'm just like, if I'm talking, I can talk while I'm moving and make my exchanges and stuff like that. And it's just an easy, and I'm more body. And I tell you, those let me unpack or let my mind kind of drift away from it all. You know what I'm saying? And I just go into the zone, and I'm just like, and I like being there, and I'm really comfortable, and I'm comfortable on the mat and comfortable with the people I'm working out with. I zen that way, though, with judo, though, too, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
And stuff. Unless I got somebody who's really upping the tempo for more contest, then it's really, okay, let's do a thing. But even when you just zen it out, and I guess that's really my advice to this person, would zen it out, man. Zen it out. Cut back on your hours, first off. I mean, that's a lot of hours you're putting on the mat, you know.
Well, that, you know, comes in with a lot of folks who, you know, listen, one of the main pieces, even when I teach, you know, my students, anyone who wants to join my school, I always say, you got to have time. And if you don't have time, then what's the point? But then, you know, you got to be a little bit flexible. You got to be very flexible, not a little bit flexible, but very flexible with folks, because people have lives. All right. So you know, for that guy who does whatever art you choose to do, or if you're in the gym all day doing BJJ, your life gives you that opportunity to do just that, where you can wake up in the morning and you could just hit the gym and do 4 or 5 hours, and you know, and you can keep it. Like, some of these guys are like, no, I'm at the gym, or I'm in the dojo 5 times, 6 times out of the week.
Also, I would like to add in, if it sounds like the brother man's going through a divorce, you need to get yourself a therapist or a psychiatrist to talk to.
Yeah.
Because I always bring that in, and I know some folks get in their headspace when I talk about going to see a psychiatrist or a therapist. Obviously not a psychiatrist unless you want to be prescribed drugs, but a therapist. Mental health is just as important now more than ever, because there's so many different things that are linked to it. Men alone, we typically don't seek mental health or don't want to believe in it. Now, this guy was an Army vet and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, look, man, sometimes you need somebody to talk you off that ledge,
right?
Or you know, or just need to be able to talk it out. You know what I'm saying? And have that get that out of your own head that headspace. I'm kind of bread fighting, but there are more benefits to seeing a therapist than negatives. And a lot of men, again, because we get caught up with the ego, we get caught up with don't want to show weakness, this, that, and the third. But it's not. It's really a sign of strength,
right,
and stuff like that. To go, and especially, I mean, he's got teenagers. He's on the mat. He's got, you know, he's going through a divorce,
you're juggling a lot.
Right.
And then on top of that, like I said, there's a particular culture, depending on what school you're with, where, you know, if you expect to go up in rank, you need to spend more time on the mat. And so some people really drown themselves with spending a lot of time on the mat. And we're talking, if you're young, that's fine. But when you're older, and like me, we're older men here, okay?
You get there when you get there.
Listen, there are things that I was able to do when I was younger. All right, you know, things are different now. You know, for me, I have tendonitis in both knees, ankles, wrists, in my elbows. They flare up every now and then. I still keep it moving and thug through it, because that's what you do. We all hit some kind of wall. It's perfectly fine. Okay, that wall is your foundation. It's there for a reason. Pay attention to it. It's a sign. All right. And as long as you pay attention to where these boundaries are, you'll keep yourself safe from injury. And don't push yourself or stress yourself to those levels, because when you're at our age and you get injured, we don't heal quite the same.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess because he was talking about he hit a wall mentally.
Emotionally and mentally.
Well, that's. I mean, I'm trying to. I wish we had.
And so we don't know if there's a lot of pressure in that school for rank requirements or any of these things. We don't know what is going on.
But again, I go back and I tell this person, my advice is, you'll get there when you get there, bro.
Yes.
Stop it. You know, you'll get there when you get there, like the tortoise and the hare, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's redonkulous. Look, there are guys who make it there a lot more than 10 years. On average, it takes about 10 years. But, yeah, I get it where, but, you know, they count. Most really good professors don't just count the number or what your roles and how much time you spend on the mat, but they pay attention to what you're doing when you're on the mat. You know what I'm saying? Are you controlling if you're in bottom position? Are you controlling the guy on top of you? Are you utilizing the sweeps? Are you utilizing the chokes from bottom position? Can you get up? You know what I'm saying? Are you working on that? Like, have something that you're working on actually to get better at what you're doing from bottom position. Then work your top position. And again, you'll get there when you get there. Most, like I said, coaches are looking at that. They're looking at the lessons. You know what I'm saying? And not just your time in grade.
The thing is that you got some of these schools that are high demand. You know, not every school is equal.
Well, then find a new school.
You know?
Listen, look. I will tell you that some of these places, they're there to make money. You know, they have a good business model. They're there to make money, and they don't want to lose money. You know what I'm saying? And if the demand is that high where you feel like you're in a bad – and that place might not be a good place for you. You know what I'm saying? So you might want to find and it's not going to turn you off from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Right? Because, nowadays there's almost one on every other corner. You know what I'm saying? It just means you find another place to work out at. You know what I'm saying? A reputable place. And, again, this is your journey, not their journey, but your journey. I mean, you get a bit of the Jutaki kind of sort of with the BJJ. I haven't been to a bad place yet. Jutaki is mutual benefit. It just means that you and the person you're working out with, there's a benefit to both of you working out together. You'll find that mutual benefit in almost any martial system that requires two people to learn. All right, meaning one person getting it, one person receiving, one person doing it, and stuff like that. There's a mutual benefit, because even if a guy's tooling on you all the live long day, well, he doesn't get any better if he doesn't kind of pull you up, make you better, because then you don't challenge him. You know what I'm saying? He would need to find somebody else who's better than him to work out with, and that the art begins to fiddle out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because every tier, the guy on the bottom is never getting better. No. Well, the guy who's really good wants you to get as good as him. So he's gonna, your leg's in the wrong place. Let's fix that. Let's fix this. Let's fix that. Let's fix this. And then, because that's the challenge for him. Once the guy on the bottom knows how to get that good butterfly sweep, get that underhook in, now the challenge is, not letting him get that underhook, not letting him get this, not letting him get that. You know what I'm saying? And even then, like, when you're, again, a really good coach, it's going to kind of let you get these things so that you get better at it and stuff like that. So, and it's, again, easy peasy. If you're feeling that much pressure, leave that place. That place is not a good fit for you.
Right.
I mean, I guess that's what I would tell that person. I said, if you're hitting a wall mentally like that, one, look at a therapist, because you are going through a lot based upon what he's saying. And then two, find a new gym. Hopefully you didn't sign a contract.
Yeah, they get you with those.
Yeah, man. Some of them aren't legally binding, man.
Yeah.
Well, some of them they're there, but there's ways out of them. Especially if you get hurt.
Hello, this is Israel Lopez Sensei of the Martial Maze. If you are a fan of the podcast or our YouTube channel, The Martial Maze Presents Modern Combatives, you can help support future episodes on both platforms by becoming a member of our Patreon. Membership entitles individuals to exclusive content not shared on either platform. as well as limited edition, exclusive only to Patreon merchandise. There are 3 different tiers to choose from: bronze, silver, gold. Gold, of course, being the very best. But no matter what level of supporter, to show our appreciation and to celebrate our 4th season of the Marshall Mays podcast, we are awarding once a month one lucky supporter free Marshall Mays merchandise. A winner will be chosen at random at the first of every month. This will go on until the end of 2024. This is our way of saying thank you for supporting us at the Marshall Mays over the years. But please keep in mind, you can't win if you're not a supporter. So you definitely want to be a supporter. That's the Marshall Mays at Patreon. We hope that you become a supporter. And once again, thank you for listening.
Our next question is small question. How do you deal with thigh muscle burnout / fatigue pain while doing kata?
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So thigh muscle burnout. All right. So when you're burning out, and again, I'm not a physical therapist, but I can give you from my own experience. One, that's a sign you need to rest, especially if you're burning out. Also, it may be time to go to the gym and get the leg routine in. But you want to do your leg routine around you train, that. So you want to get your squats, your lunges in. But I think that's one of those things you have to build up to.
Yes.
So you need to walk it back to your basics, which would mean you. So we used to do a thing back in the day, and it was the transitions, right? So I do 2 minutes in horse, 2 minutes in Kinkots, 2 minutes in, and it would go like that. And I would transition from each, but smooth transitions, not hard. So it'd be just a smooth, but because they're all variations of
the same,
being in that horse stance. Excuse me. And shifting to, and getting it to the Zen coats, all these things, keep in mind, these are snapshots in time. They're very great health postures, which are very, very different from the combative versions of those different positions and stuff like that. So, yeah, if you're dealing with that kind of fatigue, I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, that's what I did back in the day. But I would do the transitions, and then over time, I'd find myself at the gym and stuff like that, doing with your squats, your lunges, and do those regimentedly. I just made up a word.
So I would like to also add into that nutrition. All right, keeping your body properly hydrated, because and also breathing properly is an important factor. A lot of us are doing these movements, and we're just kind of going through the motions, and we're not matching our breaths with our movement, because our air is our gas that feeds the muscles from lactic buildup. So we need to learn how to breathe properly with our movements. Some schools don't focus on breath control properly. Believe it or not, even when you're throwing or even when you're grappling, some folks know how to breathe and some folks don't know how to breathe properly, and they're not breathing. Most of them are breathing from their lungs and not their diaphragm. So all of those little things are important, but I would like to also add nutrition, making sure your body's properly hydrated and you're eating the right foods, taking the right vitamins as well, all right, because this all contributes. All right, I don't know what this person's frame looks like or what they do for a living, but we all get fatigued. It does happen when you do high stress, large reps. All that does come into play. But you're definitely right on that, dead on with, take it to the gym. You should be doing lunges, squats. All of that contributes to it as well.
I would definitely say go back to your basics.
Yes.
There's a reason why, if especially a traditional Okinawan school or even a regular karate school, but you spend so much time in horse stance. It's the shit that people complain about, which I always find hilarious. And
no one wants to go to the dojo for that.
I'm not. So I don't want the whoever wrote this to feel like I'm knocking on them. No, when I say the shit that people don't ever want to do is just what you just alluded to. And how many times somebody said, I'm not paying this amount of money to sit in horse stance all day or to sit in this stance all day, man. That's boring. But this is a conditioning drill. These horse stance is so great for like good proper Kibadashi is so great for your body,
yes,
and stuff like that. Like there's so many,
spine.
I'm like there's so many more. There's so many benefits to it, and then making sure you're doing it properly. I mean, the Japanese were obsessed with health. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that's why they widen the stances, and your body is standing fully erect. And if you look at the combative version of those snapshots in time, because that's what they really are, the stances are snapshots in time. No one fights from this position. It's you end up in that position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you're catching something or you're doing something. But anyway, that's a topic for another time. But they got obsessed with these snapshots, and they go, look, if you plant your feet here, your knees are out here, this is in here, and this is, boom, it's going to help these muscles, and it's going to build this here, and the way you breathe. You know, all of that stuff is the stuff that you're supposed to focus on when you're in those stances. You know what I'm saying? And you get stronger.
Yeah, yeah. And to add on to that, just a little bit of what I do with my students, I start them off small. Whatever posture you're bringing your students through, I start them off with holding those postures for 30 seconds a pop. All right? As they get stronger, then I increase it. Now, the max that I would go is to 5 minutes. I wouldn't go over 5 minutes because we don't want to damage the tendons as well. So, you know, you want to also keep that in mind. But, yeah, I mean, we have stories when Sensei used to burn the incense. And we couldn't leave it till the incense was burnt out. You know, little small incense, the little ones. But, you know.
You sit in stances, you hear the little thing, ding, then you shift into another position, and you just hold it. And boom, I liked it when we were actually just doing the striking in each position because then it gave my mind somewhere else to go. But when you're just holding your hands in proper position, you're holding it, and you're just trying to breathe.
Yep.
And it's almost like it was yoga. I don't know.
Hot yoga. It was definitely hot yoga, but martial.
But yeah, your legs. But even with that, you couldn't. The next day, my legs were so rickety. I was so sore. You couldn't sit. Like you need help getting off the toilet seat and stuff. And that never really went away. Like
crutches.
Yeah. I'm like, so it wasn't every class because that was back when you trained almost every day.
Yes.
And stuff like that. But you'd have one. It was what I think Kenny used to do something similar like every other week. I mean, not every other week, but every other day. Because you still needed time to heal. That's another thing. You still need rest. You still need time to heal and stuff like that when you tear your muscles up like that.
And people got to understand that. And that's why I don't think it's, to each his own. I think, for some who train back to back. I mean, I only approve of that if you're in competition. But even
in contest, you still need to be regimented.
You need recovery.
You need recovery time. You need rest. You need recovery.
But some folks think recovery time is, well, I go to bed and then wake up and then do it. And I'm like,
need to stretch. Like, you need a full stretch. I mean, like, and that's a day. That's actually a routine where you just stretch.
Yes.
And stuff like that. I mean, there are folks that have degrees on this that look, you gotta it's not about reinventing the wheel, man. It's you look at all the things that have worked. You look at the way people who train that are still functioning. Like I always say, like you watch some of these folks, they train, they were doing all this stuff, but then you see them walking with a cane or they all tore, their bodies are all tore up. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. That was my issue with even we were talking about Taekwondo back in the day, where when you're doing something to a point where you get to a certain age and you can no longer do it because of the wear and tear on your body, then you got to ask yourself, was this right? Was it right for you? You know what I'm saying? Now, I know plenty of guys that have done it back in the day and they kept their health right and stuff like that. And they kept the stretching, they kept all these things going and stuff like that. So there's that.
It's kind of funny because
I know there's somebody I know there's Savat, and they've been doing that forever. That's that French foot fighting. And they still got this, haven't lost a step.
You know what?
They're 60 years old.
It kind of goes into this question here. I was hoping to find out if there was an appropriate leg muscle ratio for martial artists, hamstrings to quads ratio, calves to glutes, etc., especially from an injury prevention perspective. I'm probably not using the right terms, but basically wanting to know the optimal mix between the different leg muscles. At one point, I felt like my quads were too strong, so I tweaked my training program, and now I feel more balanced, but I would love to hear from others. That's interesting because, like, as martial artists, it depends on what you do for martial art. And this can also develop injuries as you get older. If you're a martial art that really deals like high throws, you got overly large traps. All right. Could that affect other parts of the body later on?
But no, you balance out.
Yeah,
I feel
you're
like
supposed to balance out.
Well, this is what I'm explaining. I feel like this isn't really a one size fits all. It depends on the person, depends on what they're building, and it depends on what they're trying to use. If you use a lot more, if you're a fast fighter, if you're a heavy fighter, I would tell you in judo, but most cases you balance out. In most of what we do in judo is total body, so there's no real way. Like there are body types
because I've seen it in martial arts where certain body parts are overdeveloped than other parts.
Listen, man,
that's what we use.
No, that tells you what that person works more,
right,
and stuff like that. But realistically, I would tell you that almost every martial arts system I know of, anyway, is typically uses total body. You use your whole body,
right,
and not just some of your body. Now, it doesn't stop a practitioner from favoring a set of techniques over others and stuff like that, but most martial training is geared around your whole, like having a complete full body fitness.
Yes.
So that you can do a lot of things like that. Like case in point, if you're a competitive judoka, you do more of a snatch kind of movements a lot where you're dropping and pushing up at the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you have jerk motions and stuff like that. So, and again, remember these maximum efficiency, minimum strength and effort, meaning you're not doing a full hoist lift. But
you see it in sport. It's very
but in sport, because again you've got two masters at what they do, and now it muddies the waters in such a way where one can say, well, yeah, but I just saw that big dude, he had to hold and lift him. What? Because the other guy had a leg lock on him, so he had to get around that, so he needed a different kind of strength.
But then we've seen old classic judo videos where the master teacher went through all its students, and the job of the students was, and they were his high-ranking black belts, to take him down. And not one of them could take him down, and he gently subdued everyone with no energy at all. Effortless.
Because that's the point. That's where you eventually want to be. But in the contest version, because of rules and because of, like, a lot of times because of rules, there's pressure. So you're blocking, you're doing this. There are a lot of different things. And as competitors get better at it, it becomes harder and harder to pull certain things off. So now you got to think outside the box. Now when the guy came in, I hooked his leg, I get underneath him now because of proper lifting. Now lifting mechanics says now I got to scoop. Now I'm again still utilizing that principle, maximum efficiency. You know what I'm saying? It's just that dynamic change. Not dynamic has changed. It's just the ante is now up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Based upon the level of practitioner skill. But if we want to say for the layman or for the grassroots guy, it's a total body, and your overall fitness is designed to do 40 throws. You know what I'm saying? And the newaza that accompanies the throws. And then you have the throws that are outside of the 40 and stuff like that. But for the bare minimum, you should be able to perform all 40 throws.
All right. So, like you said, solid. It should be full body. Okay? I agree with you. But yet, once again, we see folks with their cane or can't walk, and they're martial artists too. And they're master teachers. All right? I'm not a physical therapist. I didn't go to school to study this, but it does make sense to me to know that if I'm overdeveloped in one place, that something else is going to give. or something else is not going to build right, and it can affect your mobility.
Well, again, you have to look at us as machines. We are. We're organisms. I mean, oh man, I'm using the wrong word there. But look at us as machines. Organic. That's what I meant to say. Organic machines. Well, like any joint, the more you use it, the more wear and tear on that joint. Now, we can't go like a machine and get that joint replaced. Well, now they can with modern science.
Some gadgets.
But they put a ball joint in there. But it never works the same anymore. Yeah, it's not the same. Now you got ball joint, right? Like you're half metal, you're a titanium guy. That goes the same for anything. Like, look, the more you use something, the more wear and tear. The more wear and tear, now something's gonna give. So the best thing to be is to be total bodied. Why? Because now you're not overdeveloping something. The most sport competitors typically end up overdeveloping certain muscles based upon what they like to use as attacks and stuff like that. Like if I'm a tall, lengthy guy and I got really good ashiwazas and stuff like that, man, I'm more likely going to spend a lot more time developing. Even actually,
I mean, you see it in people. Like you can look at people's frames and you can kind of get it. Oh, that person looks like he does this, or that person looks like he does that because of their frames.
Yeah, because their frame. Most really high-end competitors look like they've all done CrossFit forever and stuff like that. Like they look almost chiseled out of stone, and they have a complete body. Like they got good arms, good shoulders, good back, good legs. They never skip leg day, and round buttocks and all that other good stuff. Even a guy with a flat butt has still that a little bit there, because they're not ignoring any of it.
Right.
Strong hips, like all of that. They don't even need to have so much as a 6-pack, but they're really
the core strong.
The core strong. They ain't rocking a whole lot of back fat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. And they literally look like Da Vinci's. You know what I'm saying? The man.
Yep.
So that's or the woman, and stuff like. And
it's
they
the
look.
Man.
Yeah, they look. Well, no, because I think there was both. They were both.
Oh
images,
yeah, that's right. There is a combination of male and female in there.
Yeah, so you have that. And that's I would tell you that's almost every martial system,
right,
and stuff like that has that. Well, anything now, like, because again, if we're talking not so much the health, when we're talking about combatives, this the full on combative thing, then all of that, then some of that stuff goes out the window because you need all of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in the sport context of most martial systems, yes. That's what you're looking for. You need that happy balance.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
I think we have time for one more.
One more. And this is a simple one. Okay. In mainland Japan, generally instructors don't like it when you train at other dojos. Yeah? ? Does anybody know if this usually extends to other martial arts, or would it just be other karate dojos?
Ooh, I don't know if this one's a short one. This one's complicated. Something that was once said to me, and it made a lot of sense, and I still say it to this day. You can't serve two masters. Like, you just can't. You may want to. The heart can be well-intentioned. Even you see it all the time with guys that cross-train. Actually, that's why some people go to MMA. And they don't want to go to any traditional martial arts because at MMA school, you're allowed to train multiple disciplines to an extent. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to look, again, some folks really truly believe in being a jack of all trades, because a jack of all trades truly is better than being a master at one. Because that's the rest of that whole the rest of that saying is a jack of all trades, and stuff like that is better than being a master of one. I
stay with the first, what you just said. You can't serve two masters, especially of the same discipline. I get it. If you move to another location, then that would make sense. You go to a new school. All right. And there's been cases where you had folks who left one school, had a particular rank at one school, left, moved to a certain area, got a brown belt over there in the same exact system, but ended up moving back. All right, and the instructor took off that brown belt and gave him something under that because, the syllabus is different. You could be in the same exact system, All right. But we have our own methodology here that you don't know.
Well, that's one of the things I will tell you that I love about judo. More so, and even Brazilian jiu-jitsu to a degree has something very similar, where I'm going to circle back just to judo.
Because I think they may do that in BJJ.
Yeah. I think so. That's why I had to circle back to judo.
Yeah.
So one of the things I love about judo is we all teach from the same damn syllabus. Depending on what federation you belong to, and even then, one federation honors the other federations because it's the same exact damn syllabus. And I think as somebody who learned martial arts and who went through that kind of BS, because that's what I call it. And it's more like I get it where folks want to say, well, it's my thing. It's the way we do this here, and it's a family thing and stuff like that. I feel like in the commercial atmosphere, that doesn't sit too well, which is why most traditional schools are suffering because a lot of people are going to things like MMA. They're leaving the classic because of that kind of crap. I'm like, a guy learns, look, if you teach Shotokan, right, and you were part of in your Minkyo Kaiten goes all the way back to back to Okinawa or back to Japan because it's Shotokan, back to Japan and all that other good stuff, and you belong part of the federation, then your stuff should look the same from the other guy's stuff.
Exactly.
And if you're doing something completely different, then again, but this goes back to why this platform exists in the first place, the Marshall Mays, because you can only train here or you can only train over there and all that. And to a degree, a lot for the charlatan room to flourish, because how are you going to tell whether or not you're learning good shit or bad shit? You know what I'm saying? This guy's claiming, we're Kempo. I do Kaji Kempo or this kind of Kempo, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the last time I checked, when we went to that tournament, everybody did snake form 1 the same. Fujao Pai, which is tiger form, was the same. Mm-hmm. No matter who was doing it, no matter what school was doing it, they were doing it the same.
Right.
Now, it didn't matter how they got there. You know what I'm saying? This guy teaches this way. This guy, because no two coaches coach the same way, even in judo. You know what I'm saying? You got some coach that coaches this way. I coach, even myself, I use me as a really good example because I tend to do this a lot. I learned judo as a martial arts, so typically the way my approach to judo is really geared for the street. You know, how to do it in the street, where I had struggled for a while to get it so it's better for contest, to make the changes so that you can utilize the information in contest. I would prefer to lose in contest than win in the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm still that way. I'm like, I don't mind doing well in contest. I don't mind bringing home the gold. Love it. Woo, yeah, dug it. But I'd rather survive in the real world. Listen, I get thrown. I'm not going to land in the prone position, man. I'd rather land on my back. That way I can see you and I can defend myself than land in the prone position. Right. I can't fight with my belly on the and my face looking straight down at the concrete.
No.
I'm like, that might stop the guy from scoring ippon on me at the tournament.
Right.
But it could be my life in real life. Again, you fight the way you train. You compete the way you train. And so if you compete the way you train and you fight the way you train, well, then I'd rather not have those bad habits. I just got pawned. Oh, son of a gun. That guy got me. But you know what? In real life, I'm going to survive. That's, so anyway.
So circling back, if you're in a particular discipline, it's ideal to stay with that instructor. Mm-hmm. All right. And not to be shuffling around with the same discipline. All right. I agree with that. And that's, I've lived.
Well, we did a whole episode about that.
Yeah.
Is it have it your way, like BK?
Yeah.
Or is it a family thing?
Right. Are you a student or are you a customer?
Yes. Are you a student or a customer? Yes.
Which one is it?
Is it? Because that's what this is triggering right now. I think you and I agreed to disagree.
We're right there. Yeah. We're right there with that. And so I would say to that person, whatever discipline you're in, if that is the only discipline, the only instructor in that area that's qualified to teach that discipline, then stay there. If you do have other options and you're just dip testing, you can play around just to try a trial class there and see if it suits what you're looking for, because you got a couple of options.
Well, also keep this in mind when you're bouncing. If you went and trained for somebody for X amount of years and you move someplace else and you train there, well, even when you come back, even if that guy gives you that low rank, he's not going to keep you there for long, because you're going to you're eating everybody in class. And stuff like that, and he would look foolish keeping you there. Right. It would be more of an ego thing. Well, I kept him there to humble him up, I guess. But me at the lower,
that's not cool.
Yeah, I'm like, me at the lower rank who keeps getting the shit kicked out of me because of that guy. I'm like, I'm not too happy about that. I mean, if you're that instructor and your ego is that big, I mean, that's a problem all in itself. But moving past that, you could end up losing half your school in the process, because people leave. I'm like, oh, I didn't come here to get beat up left and right. Well, this guy, because people find out that you could take look, I can put on a white belt tomorrow. It's not going to take away my 20-plus years in judo. It's just not.
No, it's not.
You know, I can put a white belt on, no. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna know. You're gonna know right away. Oh, that guy's clearly not a white belt. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like me walking into a karate school at this point. Yeah, I don't do it all the time, but I do it enough. Well, you're gonna know. You're gonna know within the first couple of classes. I am definitely not a white belt.
Well, I know when I was with Griffins, when we had experienced martial arts join our ranks, all right, and they were good at whatever system they were in. No, we would know when we do randori. All right, and even though, because you don't know the system, you are a white belt, but you're not fighting white belts. You're going to be fighting green belts.
Yeah.
You're going to be fighting brown belts, because we know what you do.
And then as they learn the syllabus, that guy, instead of, well, John joined a couple of weeks ago and he's already a green belt? Well, yeah, because he walked in. He had been training over there for 20-plus years and then came here as a white belt.
Yeah,
that's not going to fly.
Or in tournaments and competition, even though you are a white belt at the school, for that particular competition, I'll put a green belt on
we
you.
get that all the time. Case in point, Sambo. Because Sambo doesn't have judo rank, right? Mm-hmm. But a lot of Sambo players love to play in judo. I don't know why they don't combine all this stuff, but anyway, that's a topic for another time. So you get a guy who's been doing Sambo forever. And he walks in a judo tournament. He has to put a white belt on, and he is tooling on everybody. And you know he's not a white belt. You're like, yo, this guy's been doing Sambo for 10, 15 years. He's on a competitive circuit, man. He just took the title. I'm like, do you really want to put him? And then you're looking at the white belts and looking at you like, no.
This ain't right.
Yeah, this isn't right. Yeah, well, just it. So we're all just going to compete for silver or bronze because this guy's going to walk home with the gold. And I get where folks will say, well, no, anything could happen. No. They are practicing basically the same damn art. I'm like, no, that's not fair.
It's not fair.
I'm like, yeah, let the guy put the brown belt on. You know what I'm saying? At least put him that high, you know?
That's it. On your level.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, my goodness.
Yep. No, I agree. See,
no.
We agree.
Yeah, on that part we agree, yes. No, I mean, I guess, because it triggers me left and right, and it triggers me mostly because charlatans utilize that. They utilize the, no, you can only train here thing all the time, and it's part of the red flags.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't spar here. We don't train with other schools. We don't do this. We don't do that. It's that isolationism. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to. Well, I am Grand Poobah. There is none higher. You know, the authoritarian kind of, and all of that gets. And then here's and again, you don't know nothing from Adam. Yes, sensei. No, sensei. And you're doing a thing. And what I do like about now is a lot of those schools are being exposed.
Yes.
Or you get a guy who walks into that school, kicks everyone's ass, including the instructor, and it's just like, this guy, that's a trash school. However, with that being said, it gives us all in the monolith it's a bad look for all of us. And when I say all of us, it's anybody who's dedicated their lives to the study and training of the martial sciences. That all of us, in a nutshell, because we get wrapped into that. Remember, at one point in time, a black belt meant something. It really did. A black belt and any martial system back in the day could wipe the floor with almost anybody. I'm
you were in your best shape.
Yeah, the 2-3 people.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that, well, he's been here for 20 years, so we just gave him a black belt. No, I'm sorry. He just wasn't good enough.
Yep.
It's not meant for everybody. Yep. You know, and even now they're like, well, you're an accepted student that's why we had to change it. You know what I'm saying, at that point, and call it something else. Because It meant because our standard went so low, the bar got so low, and there was no real way to regulate it. There's still no real way to regulate it. Even now, we tell folks, we educate folks, hey, this is what you should be looking for. That's a no-no. That's not a no. Well, who makes you the authority to decide what martial system is good and which one's bad, or what instructor? And you're going, well, first and foremost, this is all combatives, correct? So in the end of the day, you should be able to fight. If you go to any martial arts school for any period of time and cannot fight, you're in the wrong damn school. Leave. Leave. Go. Run. Because, again, it's combatives. Fighting is fighting. I'm sorry. Anybody out there that wants to run that yam about, well, and give you that's BS, man. They're blowing smoke up your ass. The bottom line is this is all combatives. This is all about fighting. Yes, there's spirituality. There's all other caveats that come in. But it's still, at the end of the day, if you can't fight, then you are at a trash location. You need to leave. Run. Ask for your money back. Hey, in fact, that'll get you out of that contract. I signed a contract because I'm supposed to be learning a martial system. Well, martial arts, it's a European term for fighting.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Art of war, fighting.
Right.
Okay, well, if I can't fight, you need to let me on my contract.
You know what I'm saying? You should be able to fight. When? What's the time frame? A year? 5 months?
Yeah. That's it. I'm like, well, would you, for $19.95 plus shipping and handling, baby, I better be able to do a thing. Anyway, I don't care about hitting the board and breaking it in half. Boards don't hit back. How did Bruce Lee say it? Boards don't hit back. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we're officially, we're a little over time. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. But congratulations to Season 4 Barack Elachidoshi. We're here. We're going to be doing Q&A. We got, like I said, big things coming. So with that being said, I'm with my partner in crime, Barack Elachidoshi.
And I'm with my partner here, Israel Lopez Sensei.
And you've been listening to
The Marshall Maze.